guys, welcome to the second SketchUp tutorial. I have written SketchUp in my search bar and I've clicked on sketchup.com and I'm waiting for the program to load to be able to start our second exercise, our second project. In this case, you're going to use the volumes that you have on your photocopies for the flat views exercise. It's 3 photocopies called flat views exercise 1, 2, and 3, and the idea is that we are going to be modeling 3 of these objects that you can choose. You can choose the 3 objects that you want to draw on your SketchUp model, on a 3D SketchUp model. Okay, when the page loads, you're going to see your cloud, your space in SketchUp, where you will see the first project that you created, and you have the chance to create a new project. In this case, we're going to start well. So we're going to do things from the beginning, choosing the right template in meters, because some of you, without even knowing, and because I didn't tell you otherwise, we're working in feet and inches in the first project, and then had problems with the size of the text and with lack of proportion between elements. So it's important to choose meters, right? Like in the other project, we're going to delete the woman and we're going to change the title or the name of the project first of all. We're going to tell it to save it in the TPR folder, and we're going to call it U2-P2 and then name and surname. So the project is going to be saved in your Google space, free space, right? Bien, so the idea is you're going to choose one of the objects here on the flat views exercise. Let's say, for example, you want to make this one, right, which is quite simple, and you're going to draw it here. As I was telling you, we're going to imagine that we're drawing things on a 1 to 100 scale, which means that if this measures 3 centimeters on the drawing, it's going to measure 100 centimeters on reality, which is 3 meters, right? And because we're drawing with meters on SketchUp, if it measures 3 centimeters, we're going to make it measure 3 meters on our model. I am going to draw 3 objects to give you ideas as to how to draw simple volumes orthogonal, volumes with slopes, and volumes with cylinders. You can choose any 3 you want, and you have to figure out your own way to do it. You don't have to do things as I do them. You can do them your own way. You just have to find the system. In this case, I am going to imagine that this object is based on this vertical square prism from which we have to drag a hole and extrude something out. So I am going to start by drawing this prism here, this rectangle here on this side. So I'm going to pick the rectangle tool and start it on the beginning of the model, on the origin, and I'm going to make sure I'm drawing on the right side, which is this side, right? And I can, without clicking again, I can directly type on my keyboard 3,3. Can you see it here on the bottom where it says acotaciones and intro? And this way I have created a rectangle which measures 3 times 3. How can we check this? We can always use the measuring tape, which is the third icon on the bottom, and that allows us to measure from one to another point 3 meters, from one to another point 3 meters, right? I am going to extrude it 1 meter in this direction, and so I type 1 intro. And now the way I'm going to drag the hole in the center is by offsetting these edges of my rectangle to the center. So I am going to offset 1 meter. So I first take the edge that I want to offset and I click 1. Right? Now I can extrude this to the bottom 1 centimeter, so that side will disappear, and now I can easily create the other surface here by drawing these 2 lines and offsetting this 2 centimeters or 2 meters. to the front, right? This would be the first figure. As you see, it's super simple. Every time you finish a figure, I want you to group it up, right? So remember we did this in the first exercise. We select all the objects that form part of one figure and we click on the right button and choose Crear Grupo. This way we can act on this volume as if it was a full entity. For example, if we wanted to rotate it, we could rotate the full object and not just parts of it, right? Okay, now we're going to draw the second object, and I want you to do this with a certain order. I don't want you to draw it anywhere, because this is another problem that you have found in the first exercise, which was that some objects were floating and you couldn't find them on the square. So the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to draw a line of 2 meters here, and I'm going to make sure that the second figure starts on that line at a 2-meter distance from the first object. The second object that I'm going to draw is going to be this one, which has slopes, que tienen rampas, so that you can understand how we draw them. It is very simple. We just have to start by the basic prism and then start imagining triangles, right? So I'm going to start by drawing the base of this element, which is a 3 times 3 square on the base. So I start on this and I type 3,3 to have this rectangle, and I'm going to extrude it 1 meter to the top. Now I have to make these 2 lines at a 1 meter distance from the edge. So this would be one of them, and that would be another one. And I'm going to extrude this section 2 meters to the top. Okay, now I have to create this triangle and this cut here. Creating this triangle is simple. It's just connecting this vertex with this vertex. So I draw a line from this point to that point, and I have that surface, and I can extrude it 1 centimeter to the front, and I have created that slope. Now I have to take off this portion, and it would work exactly the same. We make a line here at a 1 centimeter or 1 meter distance from the corner. We do this, and now we can draw this line connected with this point. Sorry, connect this point with this point, and we can extrude this side 1 meter in that direction, and we're finished. Very easy. As I was telling you, there's many ways you can do this, and you can find your own way. This is the fastest way I could find. You can find others. Again, like with the first object, we're going to group it, and we have created our second figure. We are going to delete this line that we no longer need. And as I was telling you, I am going to create a third object that has cylinders, so that it helps you if you want to choose one of those objects. I draw a 2 meter length line to keep the distance between the objects, and I am going to draw this one, which is very simple, although it doesn't look so simple. I'm going to start by drawing a rectangle of 3,3 meters side, and on the diagonal, on the center of the diagonal, I am going to trace a circle. Right? I am going to delete all the lines and elements that I no longer need. And I'm going to extrude the circle 3 meters up to get the cylinder. Now, if I want to draw a diagonal on this side of the cylinder, I just have to pick the pencil tool, and as I get close to the center, it's going to offer me to start centrado, como veis, and I would like to choose the direction parallel to the red axis. So when it offers me the red direction, this is the direction that I want. So this way I am tracing a diameter on the red direction, and I can extrude it 1 centimeter to the bottom and delete the unnecessary lines. And I can do the same on the bottom, so I can orbit my model. I can use, for example, an auxiliary line from here to here on the red direction, which is going to help me trace a red diameter, and I can extrude this side 1 centimeter to the top, and I have created my third figure, right? You can choose this, you can choose others, and again, like I said, we're going to group it. Why do I want you to group it? Because I now want you to add materials or color to all of your figures, right? So like we did in the first project, we go to the materials area and to the searching box, and you can choose colores or you can choose materials or whatever you want. And if you have created the groups, as you drag the paint bucket on every object, it will directly paint or color all the sides of the object, right? So your model will be ready, but before you send anything to me, I want to make sure, because you're going to send me a PNG file and I'm not going to be able to measure on your model. I want you to make sure that you indicate the measurements of on the object like we are doing in class with the annotation rules, right? To do that, you're going to go to the measuring tape icon and you're going to choose acotaciones, right? And I want you to give me not all the measurements with much detail, but yes, I want you to give me some general measurements of your model, right? So for example, you can give me that one, you can give me this one, you can give me the distance between this and this, right? You can give me, for example, you can give me some partials. Maybe for giving me partials, you would need to draw an auxiliary line that you later delete. So you can give me this partial. You can give me this, right? And you can also give me measurements on the height and the depth. Sorry, the depth is already given. So you will give me measurements in this direction. Okay, so basically this is what I want you to do. Give me some general measurements of your model, and then once you have created the 3 figures of your choice and annotated them generally, you can create a good scene on which I can see the volumes perfectly and export a PNG file like you did in the first project, and this is the file that you would have to send to me, right? So with this, the project would be finished. Of course, you can make more than 3 figures if you feel up for that, if you want to make more. And you can choose colors of or materials of your choice. I hope everything was clear. Remember, we have voluntary classes for questions on Mondays you can connect to via Teams, or you can ask any personal hesitations, questions through the Teams chat, and I will try to help you. The task will be in your Teams. with the deadline. So please finish it before the deadline. See you soon. Take care.